How close are Russia and China? Chinese President Xi Jinping spent 3 days in Moscow, starting March 20th, 2022. This was his first official trip abroad since he got confirmed for his third term as the supreme leader of China. Russian President Putin and Xi Jinping had many meetings, official and unofficial. The highlight was the one-on-one meeting between the two leaders, where they spent more than 4 hours discussing several issues, but mainly the Ukraine war. At the end of the trip, there was a joint press statement. It did not have major announcements or direct offer from China to help Russia. There was some anticipation that China may get involved in negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. But there was no concrete announcement on that regard either. China has given indications that the Western nations bear the major responsibility to take the steps to resolve this issue. In other words, China suggests that it is not taking a direct involvement in the war. However, many believe that China is already helping Russia in more ways than one, and that may include military assistance as well. The US President, Joe Biden, and other US officials have warned China not to help Russia with military aid, though the Western nations are doing the same with Ukraine. If China does get involved directly, there is a possibility that this conflict can go out of hand, leading to a world war. This leads to several questions. How close are China and Russia now? What does China want from Russia? Does China prefer a quick resolution of the Ukraine conflict? It may not come as a surprise to many that China is already a big beneficiary of the Ukraine conflict. The sanctions on Russia has made Russia increase its sale of natural gas and oil at an astoundingly high volume to China. Without China, Russian exports will fall to a large extent and may shut its economy. The dependency of Russia on China has never been greater. Obviously, Russia does not prefer to be so dependent on China. In fact, Russia, in general, and Putin, in particular, have never trusted China or the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. Even though China has claimed it has a no-limits friendship with Russia, China has conflicting requirements and challenges with Russia. First, China understands that it can completely dominate Russia, but still can't exercise its control fully. China doesn't want to intimidate Russia, since it needs Russia to be a friend in any future conflict with the US, and possibly the entire West. Second, China will not want Russia to lose the Ukraine war at any cost, because if Russia loses, China believes that it will be the next target for the Western nations to subdue China. However, China cannot be seen as openly aiding Russia, as this can jeopardize its relations with Europe, with whom it maintains decent relations currently, much better than the United States. Third, China enjoys cheap oil and gas from Russia, as it struggles to come out of its own economic disaster and the large-scale deaths due to the pandemic. If the Russian sanctions are lifted, China will stand to lose big time. But if the war continues indefinitely, there is no guarantee that Russia can withstand a sharp economic slump, and if it doesn't, China will be forced to interfere militarily, which is not preferable for China. Finally, the Ukraine war is making the Western nations poorer, with heightened inflation as well as a looming recession. An economic slowdown in Europe will hurt China's exports and its economy. Though China has not been vocal about its peace proposal, Xi Jinping, who had just brokered successfully an agreement between Saudi Arabia and Iran, would like to be known for bringing the Ukraine war to an end. This will add to Xi Jinping's credentials as a world leader as well as a diplomat, and can only help him domestically within China. Currently, Russia and Putin are so much in need of China, but any effort by China to coerce Russia to its design will backfire, and the relations will fall apart. As the Chinese Party's mouthpiece put it in its newspaper column, the United States and the West have brought China and Russia closer than ever in their entire history. In conclusion, China and Russia, who are not natural allies, have been pushed into extreme closeness out of necessity. Thanks for watching.